Gladys Smiley at 9 a.m. Truth Time with Dr. Cornell West and Nina Turner at 12 noon. Here they come, y'all. Here they come. Here they come, y'all. Here they come.
Get out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show at 1 p.m. The D.L. Hughley Afternoon Show at 2 p.m. A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nee Quarterly Quartet at 4 p.m. Here they come, y'all. Here they come. Here they come, y'all. Here they come.
Get out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way.
Tune in weekdays from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for the talk of the town. Only on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about. Here they come, y'all. Here they come.
When I dropped the mic, it hit the floor like Thor. That's right. You can't pick it up no more. Don't even try. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it was. Y'all know what it shall be. Get smart for the start, before it get dark, before they hit you with the pitchfork. Better crip walk, this is real talk. Smoke, push, ambush, then we peel off. Still rolling with the wheels off. Always looking out for the crisscross. I'm a bigger boss than Rick Ross. Always winning. Get lost. It's the warlord. Bring the voodoo. When I bail through, it's crazy like Bellevue. What they tell you? Leave that boy alone. Like Home Alone. Cause Skull and Bone. Arrest the president. You got the evidence. That is Russian intelligence. When it rains, it pours. Did you know the new white was orange? Boy, you're showing your horns. They trying to replace my halo with thorns. You so basic with your vape stick. Let's go apes in the matrix. Arrest the president. Arrest the president. Arrest the president. You got the evidence. Arrest the president. Arrest the president. Arrest the president. You got the evidence.
KBLA Talk 1580. Ha, maybe a little too late for that. Yes, indeed. We are just about an hour away from this man becoming the incumbent president. Makes me shudder just to think about it. I am happy to bring into the space to unpack this glorious birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the inauguration, the re-inauguration of the man she calls 44 and a half. She's a human and civil rights attorney, does criminal defense, went to Cornell, went to UCLA Law, with Chokwe Lumumba, now leads an organization called Black Alliance for Just Immigration. Attorney Nana Gyamfi, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here. I'm listening. I'm like, I missed that cube. I don't know what happened. But anyway.
Yeah, I know. I missed that era Snoop, too. And even Platinum Plan Snoop is better than Inauguration Rick Ross.
Absolutely. No question.
I mean, now we're really, that's pretty sad, though. That's pretty pathetic that I have to make those kinds of comparisons. You know, I must say I am a Snoop fan, and I've interviewed him over the years and really admired his contributions with his football league and other things he's done in the community that may not be seen as strictly political, but certainly qualify as community organizing. And I was very hurt that he decided to do the crypto ball. And then you see the video, he's acting as his own DJ, rapping in a very lackluster way in front of a sea of white folks that could care less.
Yeah, it just is sad all the way around. It really is, especially given the vociferous way that he blasted folks who were unwilling to do so, during the first inauguration time. But it's a sign of the times in a lot of ways. And I think people are, trying to make this effort to be part of the oligarchy. And, it's black folks still ain't gotten it in their heads that you ain't going to be part of the oligarchy.
I mean, I understand Kodak Black. He got something out of the deal. He got pardoned. Fabio Foreign, Mike Tyson, Nelly. it doesn't make sense to me. Soulja Boy, maybe no, Nelly and Soulja Boy, I get that they're broke, but all money ain't good money. I get no one bought your little your video console, Soulja Boy, but it feels like a stab in the back to us at a time when we don't need another stab in the back.
I mean, I would say yes and no. I mean, I do understand that for people who, who associate folks with the culture and want the culture to be associated with actually a love for Black people and a care
yes, please,
for a community. But, we also know, right, that there are folks who, hey, it's about the dollars. It's been about the dollars. We already knew, and I know you and I have, just because of the relationships we've had. Of course, yours have been, more broad than mine have been. But it's like, these folks are not necessarily, have not always been like the most concerned about human beings in their own sort of circles and communities, and definitely have that Chris Rock, I love Black people, but I hate N-words in a way. But it's like, a different version of that, where some people are, deserving of care and some people are not deserving of care, and they definitely care about themselves above everybody. And we just got to be ready and prepared for a lot more of that to come.
Yeah, well, Black Twitter wasn't having it. I wonder if they're going to face the same kind of impact on their careers that Chrisette Michele. I mean, she wasn't an icon like Snoop. When she performed, she got pretty much canceled when she performed at his first inauguration. Harder to cancel Snoop. He's an icon. Definitely harder to cancel a Rick Ross. But people like Nelly, Soulja Boy, who are famous but disposable in a way, I don't know, at least from my playlist, I wonder if they're going to suffer the same consequences that Miss Michelle.
They're not Black women, so probably not. Let's continue.
Next.
Probably
Thank
not.
you.
They're
Next. That's a really great point. Okay. So talk to me about, since you're the BAJI lady, the Black Alliance for Just Immigration, talk to me about these raids that were supposed to happen starting tomorrow in Chicago. Then we heard they backed off of it. Maybe they're just saying that so people will let down their guard. I feel like there's been some backtracking off of the whatever they said they were going to millions, 11 million, 12 million, 20 million. I've heard all different numbers of people that are going to deport, which is actually more than there are actual immigrants. But what are you hearing? What is your intelligence telling you?
So, firstly, I spoke about some of this. I was one of the speakers at the People's March and Rally that happened this past Saturday. In fact, it's the speaker on immigration. And one of the things that I was really trying to get across to people, speaking particularly to Black migrants and Black Americans, is just, first of all, we just got to be calm. There's going to be a lot of effort to instill fear. And it's like that bully who says, I'm going to do this. And then when they see that you don't break down and throw yourself on the floor, then it's like, okay. Well, I'm going to do that. Yeah, literally, it's like cartoon character. It's just unfortunate that it's so dangerous in impact, but it's just cartoon character villain foolishness. And if we jump and holler and run, when in danger, when in doubt, run in circles, scream and shout, every time this administration says they're going to do something, we're going to be in trouble. I need the weight loss, but not all of us do. You know what I'm saying?
Know what?
We're going to be in trouble.
I can't with you, Gyamfi.
So we have to understand that they want to scare us more than they want to do something. ICE are cops. Cops, they don't like to write reports. They like to brutalize people. They like to arrest people, but they don't like all the paperwork and all those pieces that come with it. And so the idea of running and grabbing people, it's a process. It's not like you just run, grab people, and then you throw them onto planes and then you get them someplace else. It doesn't work that quickly. It's like evicting someone. it can happen. It's no question. People are getting evicted. But when a landlord says, I'm going to lock you out and I'm going to throw your stuff in the street, it's like, yeah, there's a process. And deportation also requires a process. So important for people to remember that. Important for people to remember that though they may have the funds to do some of what he wants to do, that they don't have enough to do all that they're claiming that they want to do, and they don't have the mechanism to do it. We have the ability to, like how they thought our people were stupid because we were walking slow. I don't know how to use this, massa. No, we were doing work strikes. We were doing, right? We were saying breaking the hoe on purpose so that, we can't work today, poisoning the oxen. Oops, sorry. That is the kind of thing we need to continue to do. And I'll just end with this. When 3 strikes first happened in California, and it happened in California before it did nationally, some of us that were in the private bar and some of us who were public defenders decided that we were not going to plead people out. 98% of cases were, resolved with plea bargains. And we decided we would not plead people out to 25 to life. Gil Garcetti, Eric's daddy, was running from Sacramento to the LA County supervisors, to everyone who would listen to him, to say, please change this law because we are having to let people go. We don't have the mechanics to try all these cases. And so we're going to do that. We're going to throw wrenches. We're going to break hose. We're going to move slow. We're going to act stupid. We're going to grin. We're going to fight. We're going to do everything that we can do to resist this machine. And we're going to win.
Watching Mike Pence walking into the inauguration seemingly alone. Wonder where is Mrs. Pence? You remember Mrs. Pence refused to...
Mother said,
refused to shake hands with Drumpf during the Carter, or even acknowledge him during the Carter funeral. Now I see Hillary. If anyone had a reason to skip this inauguration, it's Hillary Clinton, since he was calling for her to be locked up. But she's there, but not Mrs. Pence. She's probably with Michelle Obama somewhere having tequila shots.
Probably. I mean, I think that, the crumbling that these folks are seeing, or that these folks have brought into, let me be clearer, a lot of the pomp and circumstance, right, and the trappings of the office, they shredded those things. And now they're surprised when people are like, okay, well, you like it, I love it. I'm not going to this. I'm not doing that. I don't know what that, how that bodes for these institutions.
Yeah.
But I do understand that people are not going to sit up here. I guess they decided to agree with Nana. When they go low, you hit the ground. You get a shovel. You get a backhoe so you can go lower. Mm-hmm. I'm cool with it.
Yep, because guess who else just walked in by himself? Barack Hussein Obama.
Hey.
Well, yeah. I mean, when they go low, you go high, but we all have boundaries. I want to get your thoughts when we come forward about these supposed 100 executive orders that are happening on this day, and some other things that what they might have up their sleeve, and some other things regarding the new presidency that we are about to undergo, deal with, and he'll be the pres in about 43 minutes. Okay, let's enjoy these last moments while we have them on KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580. To our beloved greater Los Angeles community affected by the devastating wildfires, we stand with you. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, our hearts go out to those who've lost loved ones, homes, businesses, belongings, and precious memories. In these challenging times, we're here to keep you informed and connected. For the latest updates, resources, and ways to help your neighbors in need, stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580. Together, we'll rebuild. Together, we'll recover. Together, we are Los Angeles strong. KBLA Talk 1580. Your voice, your community, your station.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's.
The Parkinson's Foundation knows that the disease doesn't just affect the diagnosed. It affects everyone who supports and helps care for them.
If you have questions, the Parkinson's Foundation has answers.
We can help you understand the disease
and give you tips for living a better life.
Find your answers at parkinson.org or call 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
This is for all the folks who appreciate follow-through. Here's a quick recap of the KBLA Talk 1580 2024 Climate Justice Campaign. More than 6.4 million Southern Californians viewed our climate justice billboards and bus shelters. Another 1.5 million people listened to and or downloaded our weekly conversations with African American climate experts. Our KBLA Climate Justice web portal had 2.8 million unique visitors. Thousands more attended our 7 climate justice community events. More than 9.3 million riders saw our climate care messaging on metro buses and trains. And 39 million Americans accessed our C-SPAN Climate Justice Symposium. All told, our 2024 Climate Justice Campaign exceeded 471 million total impressions. KBLA Talk 1580 thanks all of our 2024 Climate Justice partners: LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, Sierra Club, California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, LA City Council member Curran D. Price Jr., the California Wellness Foundation, MWD, AQMD, and the Port of Los Angeles. Caring about the climate, caring about the community, changing the conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580. Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
And I'm speaking with Attorney Nana Gyamfi on this Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. birthday. It does seem that when it comes to the second election of the second inauguration of Donald Trump, when it comes to the ceasefire in Gaza, when it comes to the direction that our nation is going on so many issues, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would be dismayed, would be on the front lines. We know he was vilified toward the end of his life, largely because he came out against the Vietnam War. I can only imagine what he would have to say about Gaza. Talk to me a little bit about that and about the People's March that you attended. Like, you know, how was it? Did it feel like anything nearly strong enough in reaction to what we're faced with on this day?
So I really enjoyed being a part of the People's March. There were folks there that were, you know, they're speaking my language people to a large degree, and people who, you know, you could tell people were really inspired. I mean, it was cold, it was dank, it felt like London, and you know that is not Nana Gyamfi weather, but people were out. People were out, and people were energized, and people were really enthusiastic. It was something that I think a long time ago, just because they knew that this day would come, the Women's March folks had gotten the permits and pulled the permits for that day, regardless of who won the election. And then, other folks got engaged and were like, yep, we're not going to do a Women's March again. We're going to do something that has a different kind of lens. And so it definitely had sort of that Black feminist, abolitionist-y lens to it to a large degree. And we had the kinds of folks that were there were representative of, cross-movement, cross-racial. It was an inspiring space to be in. I mean, I think people who were there are going into today, and maybe that's why I have the energy I have today, with a different kind of mindset. You know, I reminded folks when I was up there at my turn that, it's time to squabble up. If you ain't been squabbling up, come join the team, that is engaged and been on the front lines and knows, as Dr. King teaches us, that the arc of the moral universe is long and that it bends towards justice. And it does that because of the work that we do. It's not because it's just a cute rainbow. You know what I mean? Like, we are doing the work to bend that arc towards justice. And I think that, you know, he is still here in spirit, even with this, you know, attempt to put a mark in a gash across this day. Particularly with people that, as you know, I mean, I grew up part of my life in the U.S. in Virginia, and they usually have Robert E. Lee Day that they celebrate on the same day statewide. That's how painful it is for them to celebrate MLK Day. And you have that throughout the South. And so having this inauguration on top of that, on top of Robert E. Lee Day, really is a way of trying to squelch that energy. But the energy, the spirit of that our ancestor is so strong that in spite of it all, people are still, I'm seeing it everywhere from all over the world, as well as the U.S., lifting up the words of MLK and lifting them up as a way to say, we are, you know we will win. Victory is ours. Victory is certain. And that we have what it takes to be able to deal and grapple with what is coming before us.
Yeah. Well, it's well said. I believe our ancestors will keep us strong through this entire debacle. And I think we're in for some surprises. I would be very surprised if Mr. Trump is actually president for all 4 of these years. I don't know why. That's just what I think. I don't know did you catch in his rambling, long and painful speech, which reminded me why one of the other reasons I was hoping he would lose is I just don't want to listen to. It's like being held hostage by your most boring uncle. Anyway, where he thanked Elon Musk for Pennsylvania and indicated that he knew the voting computers better than anyone, and we got a really big win. That was kind of interesting.
It was kind of interesting. I mean, the thing is that they're going to show themselves. They're going to show their hands. They're going to do all of that because that's the type of arrogance, right? And incompetence. It's like this terrible combination of arrogance and incompetence, which, as we know, is dangerous, but also which allows us to see some of where the soft belly flesh is, and to see some of the workings. When I was coming back from going from New York to D.C. for the People's March, I was on the train, and I was just trapped by a bazillion chimpanzees, okay? And I'm sitting with 3 of them. And they were going on, and I was traumatized because I was like, oh, my God, I am in the chimpanzee zoo. But I decided to calm down and to listen. And what I heard was so much exposure about what these people are doing. I took notes to take back to the team because they're so arrogant. They're yelling in the trains. These are people that are at high levels trying to get stuff done about all the things that they're done incorrectly and all the things they're going to do. Talking about stupidity is what is used to hide criminality. I said, okay, let me check that box. You know what I'm saying? So we know that they're going to expose themselves, and we need to take those notes that you're talking about, Dominique.
Yeah, especially Trump. He just talks so much. It's like, but okay, this is a sidebar. I had a bunch of more relevant things to ask you, but it came into my mind. Does he seem less dementia laden since he won? I feel like maybe he was playing us. You know, I haven't heard about alligators and other random stuff. I mean, he still talks and talks and talks and rambles, and he's boring and terrible. But he seems a little bit more cogent since he won.
I mean, it might be more healthcare drugs, less illicit. Do you know what I'm saying? Who knows?
It actually might be. Okay, well, I saw Sonia Sotomayor walking in. The Supreme Court justices all walked in into the inauguration, and she looked about 100 years old. She can barely walk. She's crouched over. This made me get a nauseous feeling in the pit of my stomach.
Oh, she's fine. There's nothing wrong with that woman.
Okay.
She is sad and depressed. She is about to do a bazillion more dissents with Ketanji.
Well, I've been hearing concerns about her health, and she didn't look good. So I'm like, no, not another Trump Supreme Court nominee. Please, Lord. I just don't know if I can take it.
She gonna be fine, honey. She gonna have all her Boricua folks. They are praying to, to Jesus, Mary, and all the others. Shango, Yemaya, everyone. All the candles are burning. She gonna be fine.
Okay, I'm taking your word for that, lawyer to lawyer. Lawyer to lawyer. We have got a minute and a half till news, traffic, and sports. Can the president-elect actually even sign his name 100 times today? Could there actually be 100 executive orders, or is that more of that loud bullying, jumping up and down stuff that you were talking about?
I think that some of it is just that bullying, jumping up and down stuff. He's going to do some things that are going to be like heavy, potent, right? And start with those that are going to look shock and awe. And some of them are not even going to be actual things that can be enacted. They're going to be more like proclamations because he likes that. But I don't think he's getting through 100 today. But, like I said, either way, hey, we ready.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you say so. No, you know what? I do think we're ready. I am not I've been dreading this day, and I'm dreading what happens in 30 minutes and 30 seconds. But I think we were built for this. I mean, I know I was raised for this. We were trained to deal with stupidity, fascism, encroachment on our rights, white supremacy. It's in our DNA. Even if we don't know we're ready, I think we absolutely are ready, and we've got to stand on that. And so I'm glad you reminded me on this day. Attorney Nana Gyamfi is my guest. We've got news, traffic, and sports. You're welcome to call. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. A man and a woman are under arrest for impersonating firefighters in Los Angeles. They wore CAL FIRE gear and claimed to be from the Roaring River Fire Department in Oregon, which authorities say is not a legitimate agency. Much of the U.S. will experience record-breaking cold temperatures this week. Wind chills in parts of North Dakota and Montana could reach 55 below, with cold weather spreading throughout the central and eastern regions. Incoming National Security Advisor Mike Waltz credits President-elect Trump for a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. Waltz told CNN that Hamas agreed to Trump's pressure. The first Israeli hostages were released Sunday in exchange for nearly 100 Palestinians. And TikTok is back online in the U.S. after a 16-hour outage from Saturday evening to Sunday morning. Users received a message thanking them for their patience and praising Donald Trump for the app's return. I'm Bree Wood on the Black Information Network, your home for Black News First.
Shop limited time deals during Lowe's Pro Savings Days. Get a free adjustable stand when you buy a DeWalt 12-inch miter saw. That's a $229 value. Valid 1/13 through 1/24 while supplies last.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The road to the Super Bowl for the Rams ended in Philadelphia. The Eagles hung on for a 28-22 win. Had the Rams won, they would have hosted the NFC Championship game next Sunday at SoFi against Magic Johnson's Washington Commanders. Last night, the Lakers played their first game in the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. The Clippers beat the Lakers 116-102. 4 straight win for the Clippers, 21 points and 19 rebounds for Vika Zubac. The winning streak for USC's women's basketball team is now at 13. They pulled out a 73-66 win Sunday at Indiana, 22 points for USC star Juju Watkins. Tonight in Atlanta, a potential history-making moment. Notre Dame and Ohio State are meeting up for the College Football National Championship. Notre Dame coach Marcus Freeman is on the doorstep of becoming the first African-American coach to win the Division I national title in football. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
1 in 3 children born today will get diabetes. This sad prediction by the Centers for Disease Control will come true if millions of Americans don't improve their lifestyles, especially by changing what they eat, how much they eat, and how active they are every day. Every 23 seconds, another American gets diabetes. Stop diabetes before it starts. To learn more, contact the American Diabetes Association or download our free diabetes education programs at learningaboutdiabetes.org.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands with you in tough times, connecting you with resources and what you need to know. Evacuation shelters are located in the Pasadena Civic Center, the Dream Center in LA, the Westwood Recreation Center, and many more. You can call 311 for details. Santa Anita Park in Arcadia is a pop-up mutual aid hub where you can pick up anything from clothing to food and hygiene supplies. If you're in Los Angeles County and in need of food, call Omni Ministries at 310-631-1557. Donations can be made to Zelle, Omni Ministries, Inc. at yahoo.com. Parking Lot I outside of Rose Bowl Stadium is a pop-up mutual aid hub where you can pick up everything from clothing to food to hygiene supplies for free. To volunteer or donate to help victims of the fire, contact the LA Emergency Network at enla.org. The Cochran Firm and Ivy McNeil, Wyatt Purcell and Diggs, Jasmine Canick, and others have launched a GoFundMe specifically targeting Altadena. Visit LA Fires. The impacted Black community urgently needs help on GoFundMe, and donate to help Black evacuees fighting for survival. Airbnb is offering free temporary housing to people displaced by the fires. Call 211 to sign up. The LA Chamber of Commerce is stepping up to help you sort out insurance claims and other paperwork. Reach them at 213-580-7500. South LA Cafe has free groceries, clothing, and water available at 1700 Browning Boulevard in LA. Track their giveaways or volunteer through their Instagram at South LA Cafe. U-Haul is donating short-term storage free of charge for 30 days to evacuees. Shelter for small or large animals can be accessed by calling 211. A Black-led coalition of community organizations is offering support and resources in the Altadena area at the Flint Ridge Center at 236 West Mountain Street in Pasadena. For comprehensive lists of resources for housing, food, shelter, and more, visit Mutual Aid LA Network on Instagram. Praying for LA and standing with you. KBLA Talk 1580.
Time is up. The IRS is in full collection mode for 2024, issuing liens, levies, and garnishments to anyone who has a past tax debt or unfiled tax returns. Don't wait till it's too late. Your paycheck and bank accounts are at risk of being seized. Call now and stop the collection process today. If you're living check to check, no matter how much you're making, you still may qualify for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. It's just a 5-minute call to get your options, and it's free. If you owe back taxes, have years of unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to sleep better, business or personal, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief while there's still time. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and tough. This veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. The call is free. Call their hotline number now, 800-652-1714. That's 800-652-1714. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-652-1714 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Talking with Attorney Nana Gyamfi as President-elect Trump enters Capitol Hill on his way to the inauguration. I'm laughing because Kamala Harris came in black, as befitting a funeral for America, and the congressional leadership has gone in. Hakeem Jeffries and others, everyone looking fairly solemn. The first lady came in looking kind of jazzy with a big smile on her face, like you ain't gonna bother me. But Melania looks like she's joined the Navy. She's got on this weird navy blue suit.
I can see that.
Is that a uniform of some kind?
Who knows? Who knows? This is the person who dug up the whole Rose Garden and was cussing about Christmas holidays, trying to figure out why people were upset that children were being separated from their parents. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot going on with that woman.
Yeah, maybe it's a uniform for whoever her handlers are, because suddenly she's a very loving wife. I'm just saying. Anyway, so much to unpack. But I do. What's the drinking game for the inauguration? Is it like we take a shot every time he says patriot, We take a shot. Like, what is the drinking game today? I guess it would it be blasphemous to play a drinking game on MLK Day? I don't know.
The drinking game is we switch to water when something sensible has been said.
Oh, so we're all going to be dehydrated all day? That's what you're saying?
Exactly.
It's National, forget Robert E. Lee Day. It's Dehydration Day.
Look, let me just say that they sell Cuban rum in Ghana because Ghana does not have sanctions with Cuba, and I got me a bottle.
I'll be right over. Whew, yes, it's definitely.
Cuba Libre, it'll be like U.S. Libre. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, Cuba Libre, hold the Coke. I mean, did you see the Coke? They did a special commemorative DJT Coca-Cola edition after critiquing him. It's like almost everybody's rolling over.
Look, funders doing the same thing, I'm hearing. Hopefully those who are partnering with BAJI are not. But, I'm hearing from some of my funder friends on the inside that surprising folks are saying, hey, maybe we ought to lean into this administration a little bit, and he might not be so bad, and et cetera, et cetera. And when I'm saying funders, obviously we know their side has funders, but I'm talking about foundations that are supposed to be supporting racial justice, immigrant rights, reproductive rights, et cetera. People have just gone scared and really about the money. You know what I mean? Really about the pocketbook, even though they have some of the biggest pocketbooks in the world.
Yeah, that's worrisome. I think the legislation that Congress was trying to put through that would allow the Treasury to take away people's nonprofit status, I suppose we expect that to come back, where they could just go after a BAJI or a Black Lives Matter grassroots and say, we're going to take away your ability to be a nonprofit and therefore take away a lot of your fundraising ability. That's worrisome to hear that about foundations. I hadn't heard it, but it does make sense because the number of folks in the media, in the corporate world that are preemptively, okay, we're getting rid of our DEI, we're firing, the University of San Francisco just fired their DEI speaker who was training doctors preemptively. It's like they're just rolling over. There's no fight. In fact, they're actually preemptively kissing his butt. Does that make it worse for those of us who will not do so? For those of us who are streaming on YouTube with our F Donald Trump Black Lives Matter posters in honor of the inauguration today? Are we more exposed because these folks are crawling all the way up his butt?
I would say, there's yes on the one hand, in the sense that to the degree that we depend on these other entities for support, for resources, to some degree for cover, I would say yes. At the same time, and I think we've talked about this before, it's like, this is the era of who's going to check me, boo.
Yeah.
And in this who's going to check me, boo era, the answer has to be us. But in order for the answer to be us, and by us, I mean the people who are building the world that we know we need and deserve, right? Which is not the majority of the planet, but it's okay. It's a critical mass. But in order for that to happen, we have to be able to be connected to one another. My sister, Esther Arma, who has a whole framework called Emotional Justice, I met up with her when I was in Ghana. And one of the things she was talking about is she was saying, hey, we're going to have some side-eye alliances. And I love that expression. Because it's like, yeah, I may be looking at a person. I may not trust that group. I may not like that group. I may, not feel, I'm not going to be all up in you and into you and sharing all the data. But on this particular issue, we may have to work together to slay this dragon, right?
Yeah.
We see it in movies and we cheer it. We read it in books and we cheer it. We see it in history and we cheer it. Well, guess what? It is our turn to understand that we're going to have to make some side-eye alliances in order to do the work we need to do and stay well in the midst of warfare. It's not going to happen by us operating individually, with our celebrity or non-celebrity, thinking that our fans are going to make it. That's not what it's going to be. And we're just going to have to be real about that.
Yeah. Cavett Haynes says it's I have a dream and I have a drink instead of I have a dream for MLK Day today. Jerry Anderson says the ring kissing is going to get real. And Morris Phillips says, now I understand why America consumes 80% of the world's dope. CW Real Estate says, take some magnesium and get your electrolytes. So I agree with all of the above. But when you say side-eye alliances, you're not talking about Morning Joe taking the trip to Mar-a-Lago or right. You're talking about
that's capitulation. Yeah. That's a different conversation. That's capitulation to the enemy, right? I'm talking about the situation we have where people, BAJI's in the situation every day. We are working in an immigration space that is often an anti-Black space, a racist space that, and we're not the majority in that space. 8% of 8% of migrants in this country are Black. So it's not like we're just taking over. And so there are issues on which we have to be allied. We need to be allied on preparing our communities for, against the potential of raids and deportations. We are side-eyeing. Absolutely. It's not like we're like, you may see us working with these groups and you may think to yourself, well, what's wrong with BAJI? Why are they doing that with them? Oh, because they have this resource. They have this thing that our community needs. We have the capacity to translate it and to do it in languages that they're never going to do. We're going to form this little alliance right here to make sure that our people are prepared, because otherwise our people are going to be left out. Period, point blank. That's all. Yeah. That's the side-eye alliance I'm talking about. Now, we're side-eyeing for sure. We're not suddenly forgetting that you're racist. We're going to bring it up. We're going to talk about it. We're going to have courageous conversations, even if they're one-sided, okay? But we also are not going to let our people suffer out of some sense of ego, pride, and moral superiority. Like, that's not going to happen.
When we come forward, I got a list for you. I said I was going to ask about the executive orders. We'll get to that. I wonder if these preemptive pardons are going to hold. Does that mean that Drumpf can actually now ask people to commit crimes and promise them a preemptive pardon? And I guess maybe he could have done that anyway. And also, Dr. Gerald Horn and I were talking earlier about the corruption, jealousy, and massive egos and incompetence being a glimmer of hope. I'm seeing that raising its lovely head in the fact that now we're hearing Vivek Ramaswamy, according to Politico, already being pushed out of the DOGE non-agency, the billionaire shadow government of the Department of Government Efficiency that Musk has pushed him out already, and the thing hasn't even started yet. So I want to get your take on all of those and whatever else you have up your sleeve. That's next on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project. Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Attorney Nana Gyamfi is helping us get through this inauguration day. And you're right, Vivek Ramaswamy is running for governor, but that doesn't mean he'd have to step away from Doge. That's just internal tension. Supposedly, Elon Musk is running several major corporations, and he can be at Doge, so both can happen at the same time. Our air quality in the studio is 28. That's in the good range, little to no health risk. Outdoors, according to our IQ Air monitor, it is at 137, which is unhealthy for sensitive groups. That report brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580. Nana Gyamfi, the preemptive pardons that Biden issued at the very last minute, unfortunately, did not include Marilyn Mosby. Do you think they'll hold up if they are challenged?
I mean, I just hope not. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I don't know why. I mean, just to the very end, President Biden insists on doing things that the Trump administration is going to use to cause greater harm and drama. I just don't understand that. It's like a 4-year movie reel. So you're pardoning people and you're saying that you're pardoning them, but you're not admitting any guilt, and it doesn't mean that they were guilty. Then what are you pardoning them for? That is not what the pardon is. The pardon is not, unlike Doge, is not something made up. It is something that is real. Therefore, there is a process and a basis for pardoning people. You cannot pardon people ahead of time. It leads directly to the things that you were describing, Dominique, potentially, where people are now going to have some weird new kind of immunity because they're going to know that even before, that they're going to get the pardon even without having been charged, without having been convicted. You know who else is looking for that pardon? Eric Adams, P. Diddy, a whole bunch of people are going to be looking for that pardon from Trump. Yeah. Without having been convicted of anything. That is not what we want to have if we are saying that you want to have a system of laws. So, I'm an abolitionist. I'd be happy for no one to ever go to jail ever and not be arrested for anything. But if you're going to play the game of punishment and having a punishment system, then do so in ways that are not going to be wielded wildly by despots.
I mean, but the thing about it is, when has Trump ever worried about what the precedent or the law was? I mean, he would easily do something like that, whether Biden did it or not, right?
That it may be true. The thing is, and what I'm assuming is going to happen is that at some point it's going to be challenged, and if it's challenged, that's why I'm saying that I hope that the challenge is successful, because if it's challenged and the challenge is not successful, then it creates a precedent to make it happen. We know that Trump can do whatever the heck he wants to do, and it may be that the Biden administration understood he was going to do that, so they were like, aha, we'll do it first or something. But it's just not... That's not a good, if you like it, I love it. It's not a good, if it works for the goose, it works for the gander. It has implications for the rest of us down here who don't have the ability to have our daddies pardon us and all of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense what you're saying, because I can see that they'll also use it to vilify, if you can even vilify someone like Dr. Fauci more than he already has been, to do that. But we shall see. I don't think Eric Adams is getting a pardon either, Honey Brown 24. But we shall see. We know it's going to be. We shall see. And you can't preemptively pardon everybody, but it seems to extend presidential immunity to all of the presidential minions, and that certainly would be problematic. We'll continue our conversation on this Inauguration Day. Or should I say MLK Day? Shout out to Amy Klobuchar for at least mentioning MLK Day at the inauguration. We're talking with Nana Gyamfi and you on KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580. To our beloved greater Los Angeles community affected by the devastating wildfires, we stand with you. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, our hearts go out to those who've lost loved ones, homes, businesses, belongings, and precious memories. In these challenging times, we're here to keep you informed and connected. For the latest updates, resources, and ways to help your neighbors in need, stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580. Together, we'll rebuild. Together, we'll recover. Together, we are Los Angeles strong. KBLA Talk 1580. Your voice, your community, your station.
That was another way. I would smoke once an hour. That didn't work either. All that would happen at some point of the day, I would end up doubling up. Other ways that I tried to quit was I stopped buying cigarettes totally. But if I took 3 puffs off of 15 friends, those didn't count because they weren't my cigarettes and they weren't full cigarettes. I went through a lot.
Every attempt is part of your story to quit for good. Visit Kick It California today at kickitca.org.
This is for all the folks who appreciate follow-through. Here's a quick recap of the KBLA Talk 1580 2024 Climate Justice Campaign. More than 6.4 million Southern Californians viewed our climate justice billboards and bus shelters. Another 1.5 million people listened to and or downloaded our weekly conversations with African American climate experts. Our KBLA Climate Justice web portal had 2.8 million unique visitors. Thousands more attended our 7 climate justice community events. More than 9.3 million riders saw our climate care messaging on metro buses and trains. And 39 million Americans accessed our C-SPAN Climate Justice Symposium. All told, our 2024 Climate Justice Campaign exceeded 471 million total impressions. KBLA Talk 1580 thanks all of our 2024 Climate Justice partners: LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, Sierra Club, California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, LA City Council member Curran D. Price Jr., the California Wellness Foundation, MWD, AQMD, and the Port of Los Angeles. Caring about the climate, caring about the community, changing the conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580. The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
I'm talking with Attorney Nana Gyamfi. Just a heads up, Tavis Smiley will be speaking with Martin Luther King III in the second hour of his show. So that's very timely for those who want to pivot, those who want to focus on what we want, not what we don't want. You can watch Tavis Smiley on YouTube instead of watching the inauguration on whatever you watch it on. Attorney Nana Gyamfi, what about the executive orders? We didn't get to that. 100 on one day. You said it's just, it might be just bullying, but we expect... Are we expecting J6 pardons to be part of that? Are we expecting immigration, the undoing of anything that Biden has done? What do you foresee?
Yes. I foresee that there's going to be things like the pardoning of the J6 folks, I believe, in some kind of proclamation. I think that a lot of what happened when Biden came in, a lot of his first days, they're going to want to undo. So the first day executive order about bring racial justice and equity to all the departments, he's going to be saying no and that and anything else that you think is good. We're going to end that. We're not going to have that. Figure out how to bring racism back, sexism, homophobia, and everything else. So I expect that. I expect him to declare immigration as an emergency. I expect for him to, that includes a national security piece. I expect that he may do a proclamation that allows him to say something about the military because he wants to be seen as a strong man type person. I expect him to talk about this Department of Education in some form or fashion, right? Something, maybe not the department, but something related to education. I expect him to either do a proclamation or some sort of executive order around that. So the main, pieces that he's hit before, right? Trying to push something that's anti-trans kids, those types of things. I expect that he's going to do what he can in executive order form. If it's just a proclamation to let people know how he feels, that it'll be a proclamation, and really focusing on those things that he knows his base cares about and that he's been promising them this whole time. And probably something having to do with the Ukraine war, because part of the thing they were yapping about on the train was how they think Zelensky should be removed by regime change. So I'm sure there's going to be some, there may be, let me not say sure, some Ukraine piece in there too.
Yeah, the usual with the side order of regime change. Attorney Nana Gyamfi, thank you for so much for spending this bizarre day with me. And I know we can find you at BAJI on Instagram, BAJI Tweets on Twitter. And is it BAJI.org?
BAJI.org. Thank you so very much. Lovely to be here with you on this day. I so appreciate it.
And I appreciate you as well. Of course, I'm going to leave you with the Martin Luther King quote because it is his birthday after all, and this is so appropriate. He says, "We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope." What could be more appropriate for this day? Tavis Smiley's up next. As I mentioned, he's got Martin Luther King III on his show. Like my mama, Diane DiPrima, used to say, history is now. Like I always say, we're making it together. Until tomorrow, be safe, be well, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. A man and a woman are under arrest for impersonating firefighters in Los Angeles. They wore CAL FIRE gear and claimed to be from the Roaring River below, with cold weather spreading throughout the central and eastern regions. Incoming national security